Hello and welcome to this first video on my channel. Before we start, I want to apologize for not the best English. I am not a native speaker, I am from Germany and I was a little bit nervous, but I think you will understand that. I wish you fun with the video and I hope you learn something new. Hello and welcome to this first video on my channel, and I will show you how to deploy your own applications, databases and every Docker file you want onto your own server with the very nice tool Dokploy. It's free to use, it has a ton of features. We can use multi-node support, monitoring backups. I know these three features are mostly only available after payment on EasyPanel or other panels. So we start really easy. We use the Hetzner Cloud. We create our own server in Nuremberg. We use Ubuntu, and I will use some mid-tier software like that and create and buy. I really like the Hetzner Cloud. If you want to get your own server on the Hetzner Cloud, you can use the link in the description, and if you are new, you get 20 euro credits for the cloud, and if you see the server cost 8 euros, you can use it 2 months free of charge. So our server is deployed. We will get an email shortly with the login data. So here we have it, and you can see it over here. That's the email. It looks like we have the IP address, we have the root, and we have the password. And now we use an SSH tool. I mostly use Terminus. It's over here. And we create a new host, use this IP address. I already have it here. And replace it. We use the root user for login. And if it's get connected, okay. And we have the password over here. After the first login, you need to enter your current password and create a new one. I will create a very easy one, but you want to get a good password to save your server. Now we only need to get this short code, copy it inside of our terminal over here, and it's executed automatically Docker installation and set up the Dokploy Docker container for you. In time of installing, we will go to Cloudflare or wherever you have your domain and DNS settings sitting, and we will create a new entry, type A. Name required is we choose deploy, and we take the IP address from the server over here, and we click save. A record already existing. Oh, I have it already here. Okay, we will see deploy and the IP address of the server. So now we will take a look. Okay, it's already pulling the container images. It's don't take long, 2 minutes, and the server is up and running. And we can go to the interface. For security reasons, I strongly recommend you to create a firewall for the server. We want a TCP access, that's right, and that we want not, but we want to have for the normal HTTP port and for the HTTPS port, TCP, yes, and we want to create a firewall. It's already applying to our server, and now it's applied. Now we have only to wait to the end of the installation. It's downloading the last package, not the last, but one of the last ones, and it's done now. Now we see that it's all deploying and it's testing if it's working, and we give you this IP with the port. Now we have already enabled the firewall. We need to add the rule to the firewall for the port 3000, but we don't need it long. We will remove it after we have set up our own domain inside of Dokploy. So now we copy this URL open a new tab and go on this page, and we already see Dokploy set up the server. Now we need to use an email. We need user at, what did I use, test.de and a password, and we register. Now we are inside our Dokploy interface. It's that easy. The first thing I show you is how to set up your own domain. You go to settings, you have your settings over here, you have your domain and the certificate. We will use the deploy domain we have already created. It's deploy dot this domain. You can use your own domain here. You need to use your own domain. It's I don't need to say that. So as email we use admin at this domain. That email don't exist. You don't need to write some nice emails to it. So now we save it. The domain get assigned, and we can already go to the new domain. It's have no SSL certificate right now. Sometimes SSL need some minutes to set up. So we copy our thing here and log in. So now we are on Dokploy in our domain, on our own domain, and now we can remove the port 3000 here. We save the changes, and you will see it's still working. But if I want to use the link from the terminal, it's normally is not working anymore. I hope so. We will see. No, that was not the right button I have clicked. So you will see it's loading and not getting us to the page. It's only for security reasons. You better use a firewall in front of your applications. So on the settings, we can configure GitHub. We create a GitHub application. We name it Dokploy test application. Test app already taken. We name it test app 1, 2, 3, and it's not taken perfectly. Now we have created this app. We need to install GitHub app, and we can get it all repositories are only selected. We can install and authorize. Here we have some handy settings. We have the server. We can reload, watch logs, enter the terminal. We have all the traffic settings. We have the space, that's all things are loaded onto our drive. We can check for updates, and a very good option is to daily Docker cleanup. So every day our old files and everything we don't need will be getting out of the system. So now we can change our avatar over here. We can create an API key. We can change the appearance. We can add a S3 destination like AWS or Cloudflare to back up our databases. I don't use that on my currently working environment, but it's very cool and I want to add this feature in near future. Also, we can upload our own certificates, create SSH keys, add new users, add another cluster like another server where you also can deploy your applications, and we can set our notifications. You can add your providers like Slack, Telegram, Discord, email. Very simple to add, like everything is described here. So now we go into our project tab. That is the main tab we will using the most time, but we also see the monitoring over here. It don't have so much usage because we don't have any things running here. We can edit our traffic file directly. I don't do this very often, but sometimes if you want to add some IPs to a Docker container, it's very useful. You have your Docker files, nothing here. We don't have any Docker files right now. So we create a test project, and you will see it's over here in the project view. Now we can create a service. There are different services like application, databases, compose, and template. We will try the first one is the application, and we will deploy a Next.js application I have created for this short tutorial. So here we see the project interface. We have the deploy, reload, auto deploy, rebuild, start, and open terminal. If you press deploy, the application will get deployed. Reload, the container is restarting. Auto deploy is very useful if you want to automatically deploy your changes to your website, like you push something to GitHub. It will automatically get deployed here. We will disable it, and I have mostly disabled it in production because you don't want everything directly pushed. So now we select our project is the Next.js Dokploy or Dokploy Next.js. We take the main branch and the build path we leave to normal. Here we can change our build type, like Dockerfile, Nixpack, Heroku build packs, and Paketo build packs. I mostly use Nixpack. Heroku is also fine, but I am sticking to Nixpack. So here we can add our environment variables, like your clerk ID or node environment. You have the monitor over here. You have some logs, nothing here. You have the deployment things, like recent deployment you will see here. You have domains. We will add a random domain right now with support 3000 for our Next.js application, and we want to get a Let's Encrypt certificate for this. Now we have a traffic.me domain. It's automatically generated, but you can also add your own domains over here. You only need to show it's have a record to your server. So now we click on deploy and confirm. And now we see on the deployment path it's running a new deployment. It's hell of a log over here, but you will see the normal things like if you use npm and run some things here. It's not very interesting, but it's normal. So now you can see the advanced tab. We will have commands that we can run into container. We can replicate it over the clusters we have. Like if you have a load balancer and have a server in Germany and one server in the USA, and you want to split this, you can use replicas and create more than one server at once. Here we have some settings like memory and CPU limit. I don't use that. Until now, we have the volumes over here, some redirect settings we can use. We have security settings like basic auth that we need to enter a username and a password, and we can add some extra ports. We also have the traffic config over here only for the application to change some settings. So we will see if our deployment is running. It's still running. I hope it's working. And we don't get some logs here because no container is started until now. I will make a shortcut and we will see it after the deployment has been finished. So now we see Docker deployed with a checkmark here, and we see on general it's deployed. It's don't show deployment here, but we can use the domain and go to the page, and it's a normal starting Next.js application. It also works on various other applications. I think we can show at the list what we can deploy on it. They have a very handy documentation here where we can see the overview, and I hope somewhere here it's listed. Oh, it's listed here. Next.js view, white, next. It's some options, but I think Nixpack and Paketo build packs will support some more applications, but it's not directly supported in this panel. Now we can create a database. We have some different options here. We can use Postgres, MongoDB, MariaDB, MySQL, and Redis. I will deploy a Postgres SQL for test app, and we use name it db test, and we already show here. Every time you need to name a database name. Everything else will be auto-generated, but that's not. So now we have our DB settings. We see our internal credentials because on the normal creation, the database is not externally reachable. We need to setting up this. You have the same settings like at the application. We The new tab here is settings. If you have set up your AWS or some other S3 storage providers, you can back up your database into it. You have some logs and some advanced settings. So now we press on deploy. The deployment of the application has started. So I normally use ports 5000 and up to 5500 for my databases. So I need to add a rule over here. I will use port 5000 to 5. Yeah, I don't think we need to run 500 databases on this, but I use the port range all time. And we need to set it also on. No, I think it's. So we have added the setting, and now we can change under here the external port to 5000. Click on save, and we also need to see some logs. Here's the logs, the database is started, and now if we click on deploy, after we change the port, the deployment will automatically change the external port to 5000. Now we have here the external host string, we can show it, we can copy it. So and here we have now the port and the external domain. We can copy the connection string, and I used table plus to show you the working connections. We imported from URL, imported, tested, and connection is okay. We save it, and now we can connect to the database. I think it's this one. No, it's the other one. Perfect. This one. So we will see our tables. We can create a new table, create new things like you always can in Postgres. So now we have some other things. We have the compose, where we can use our own Docker compose file or stack files. I don't use that often, but it's handy for some applications where you have a Docker deploy file and you want to deploy it directly onto your server. So we can use raw and copy in our own Docker compose files. I don't use it. I don't know for which programs you want to use it, but normally you can copy it into it and it will work. But we also have the template area where we have already pre-made compose files for various templates like Superbase, Pocketbase. I really like to use Umami Analytics for that, and you have every option over here. I can show you it and we deploy an Umami application. So here we have our settings. We have a domain generated, and we can click on deploy, and the deployment is running. And we also see over here that we have where it is here at logs. We will see in a moment that we have 2 containers, because we also need a database and we need the Umami Analytics data. Here it's created, and now you can see over here on logs that you have the database and the front end. We can test it and check if the domain is working. Okay, page not found. We are not done with the deployment right now. Where it shows general. Okay, now the deployment should be done. We will try it. Application, yeah. And you can log in with the normal, I think it's admin and Umami. And you have installed your own Umami in the cloud. Here's now a newer version available. We can update this also, and you can add your applications over here. You can also add your own domain into the domain settings, and after that you need to click on deploy again. So this is the easiest way to deploy these applications and get your own web applications onto your own cloud if you don't want to use Vercel or you don't want to pay as much money onto some mid-size applications. You can use the Hetzner Cloud over the link in the description, and I hope you are not so mad at my not so good English. I'm not a native English speaker. Here we have known already, I think. And I wish you so much fun with this very simple Dokploy tool. And if you need some help, you can ask in the commentaries, and I will try to help as much as I can. I wish everyone a good day and keep coding.